Hi there, everyone. Welcome to another Linfield Women's Soccer Weekly Coaches Report here on the Linfield Sports Network. Joe Stewart with you, and with me, as always, Coach Steve Simmons. Coach, how you doing today?
Oh, it's great. You know, beautiful fall day. We got a lot of stuff going on, talking Northwest Conference soccer and pennant races. So it's fantastic.
Talking some playoff baseball here in the studio before we're hitting the air. Gotta love it.
Good stuff.
But yes, let's talk some Northwest Conference soccer. That's actually what we're here supposed to do. But after starting out the year 2-5, you guys have bounced back. A terrific weekend at home, back at 500 overall, and up to 4-2 in conference play. You guys have won 3 in a row now and have at least 3 goals in all 3 of those wins. How high is the confidence from this team after last weekend's wins?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's got to be pretty high when you're stacking wins up like that, and I don't want to take away that experience, because it's harder to win games, you know, and with winning games comes confidence, but. You know, what I'm trying to teach the team is to not be held hostage by results. And you know, you can be held hostage obviously with losing, because the confidence could take a hit, but also with winning games. You know, it's important that after every practice and after every game, the players really reflect on the things that we're trying to do and the objectives. And so shifting that narrative to playing against an opponent versus playing against a standard is what we're trying to do. But I get it. It's fun to win games, especially at home. And I'm proud of them. Especially in the last game we played where we had to come back. I'm super proud of the way they kept fighting and they kept clawing their way back and to get a victory. So it's running high, but at the same time, a part of my objective for this program is to win a lot, and you do that by sustaining the way you play every single training session and every single game.
Definitely. And, those wins weren't perfect wins. And looking at the Whitman match, it was a 3-0 victory, which is terrific. But, all 3 of those goals came very quickly early on. And then that second half, I thought, was very closely contested. I was really impressed by Whitman, actually. It turned into a total defensive battle, just 2 combined shots on goal in the second half. What did you see from your team? I mean, last week you said every team in this conference is capable of coming out and getting a result, and it was you guys who got the result. But what did you see from this team having to battle that much in the second half after getting that early lead? I mean, the energy and the pace of that match completely changed.
It did, I would say that it's a team in Linfield that is coming of age to be competitively mature. In a lot of sports, you can have a tale of 2 halves, right? And so the Friday game against Whitman, it was great that we came out guns a-blazing, come out being the aggressor, you get the early lead, and we had an opportunity to put it away. And so, as the second half comes, we're going to expect that our opponent who's down they're going to come at us hard, because their backs are against the wall, and they did. And that's a moment for us to learn to be able to put a team away, because if you don't and teams hang around, it gets closer than it should. And in all due respect to Whitman, they're super well coached, and I'm not surprised they put up the fight like they did. I'm not. And but it's more about us making sure that the next time we have that opportunity, that can we improve on being more mature of how we want to finish out games.
And then against Whitworth, absolute thriller, but the 3-2 victory coming out in favor of your guys. Then that match saw 5 different players score between the 2 teams, 3 different lead changes. What do you learn about your team's resiliency with having to take the lead and then get it back and draw it up and then take the lead again, and just how up and down that match was?
Well, the big takeaway for that game for us is that we don't ever lose games. We just run out of time, right? And so for the girls to show that when we did go down, that they were able to stay resilient and continue to do what we're trying to do. And so I'm so proud of them for that. And I told them that after the game. It's easy to when you get down to really not come out of it. And so the girls did come out of it a couple of times. But at the same time, we saw the goals against our byproduct of what we need to improve on. And so the good news is that those things are in our control. We need to get better to improve those things. But, sometimes, you get those games that are up and down. And I'm sure it was exciting for the neutrals to watch the fans. All those lead changes and goals, and that's great. But for us, we want to be able to put teams away and minimize how many times we give them chances to score.
Well, let's look ahead to this upcoming weekend. You play your first road match it'll be 3 weeks at that point, and it's a doozy against Pacific Lutheran. The Lutes are having another great season. They've won every home match and every conference match. They play again tonight against Puget Sound, and they've only allowed 3 goals all season long. But last year, Linfield played PLU as well as near anybody in the conference, drawing 1-1 in Tacoma, and then unfortunately losing 1-0 here at home. What are some points of emphasis going into this match against one of the toughest opponents you'll face all year on their home pitch?
Yeah, first of all, do what we do better. So it's going to be about us. We need to do what we do. We just have to do it better. Against certain opponents, the margin for error is going to be different. And certainly with PLU, and they're super well coached and well drilled. And Seth Spadal's got that group of girls for the last 2 to 3 years, being very consistent in how they play. So it's not a surprise to me where they're at right now. They're just a wonderful team. All that means to us is that the margin is going to be smaller, which is fine, but we're going to still go out. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to try to win the ball game, and we'll see where it lands. And so the good news is that, we don't want to feel that we have to make so many different adjustments with opponents that we can't control our own destination. So it'll be a great game. I love these type of games because it really shows us where we're at. We want to see where we're at. And we don't want to go out and try to survive these games. We want to try to win the games. And now at the end of the day, if the game turns and we're having to close it out with a little survival tactic, that happens sometimes. But our intention is not to do that. So we'll take a tough road trip to Tacoma. We'll try to improve what we need to improve on. And it's great when you're going against a team that is feeling it right now, because that way you get a true measure of where you're at. So I'm excited about that.
Definitely. And then on Sunday, returning home against George Fox. Of course, the longtime cross-county rivalry right there. But Linfield has been doing pretty well in that rivalry recently. Haven't lost to them since 2009 and haven't lost at home since 2008. In pretty much every Linfield versus George Fox sporting event I've ever covered or watched, it is so clear how badly both sides want to win those matches. Do you think that there will be a little bit of a extra mental edge that your players will be playing with, especially homecoming weekend? The crowd will be alive and full, I'm sure, and against one of the longtime rivals.
Well, I'm thankful you didn't put any pressure on me right there, but I wasn't aware of those stats. But again, at the same time, don't get held hostage by past results, because the next game's the next game. And both teams will get up for each other in every sport. We've seen it in every sport. And they're a passionate bunch. They're very organized. And it's another Linfield George Fox wonderful rivalry, and we're going to do what we do and try to do it better. I think the funky thing for both teams is that you're coming off that Saturday, and then now you're flipping around. For us, we're flipping around from
the road trip back.
Exactly. So I'm curious to see how we respond, and how we react to that transition from Saturday to Sunday in this manner. It's one thing to be at home, or if you're on the road and you're in the same city, that's different. But it'll be interesting how we'll handle that. But the girls that have returned, they've already done this before.
Right.
It's just me. I haven't done this before. So they should be able to handle it. But it'll be another great affair. And like you said, you got homecoming, and there's a lot of things that are going on. And another fun opportunity against George Fox for sure.
Well, that'll pretty much do it for us with this week's Linfield College Women's Soccer Coaches Report. Coach, thanks for taking the time, as always. Always great to see you.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
The Wildcats continue their Northwest Conference campaign this weekend against the three-time defending conference champs PLU on the road on Saturday, and then back home for the rivalry match against the George Fox Bruins. That match starting at noon, and of course we'll have live coverage on the Linfield Sports Network starting at 11:40. Thanks for joining us.